Hi everyone, this is Rosé, and this is the first time. I was starstruck. I just fell in love. I remember he was very like, who are you? Because we come into their home and he was like sniffing us and being very like cautious. He just seemed like a very smart dog. And I remember the person who was taking care of him before we picked him up, she was like, do you want to like hold him? And I was like, oh my god, can I? And then I held him and I remember him feeling so much smaller than I expected. That's when I was like, yep, I'm bringing him home. I got in the car and I have a picture of that moment too. We were having like a dinner with Blackpink and like our producer, and I remember he's like, oh, what do you think about this track? They kind of had already had the idea of like what kind of message it was going to be like, and I remember us listening to him, we're like, this is a really good song. Everything I need is on the ground. I liked it a lot. My producer was really keen on working on it. I hadn't heard a song like that before, I don't think. I mean, I didn't expect to hear a song like that because every song that we kind of get or kind of begin with doesn't really have those kind of messages in it. And so we were like, And for us, it was more like, I think this song kind of speaks our mind, you know? I think it might be Rihanna's Anti album. Yeah, I think that might be the first one. I can still put it on from start to finish and just like sing along to every single word to it, and it just put me in the best mood. So I was the new one. I was like the newbie and I was like, hi, I'm from Australia. I walked in, I had my parents behind me. They were there to drop me off because I wasn't an adult yet. And then I walked in and there was just like a bunch of girls, like quite a lot of them, in a room. I remember just feeling so like intimidated. I was like, hi. So Jenny was the one, so there's like this choreography that we have to learn, kind of like the basics, and she was like teaching me, and she could speak English. She had studied in New Zealand. We had that in common, and she was like, oh, in Korea, like this, you have to do this, you have to call people by this and that, and she was like letting me know about all these cultures that I thought I knew about, but I obviously didn't. That was her, and Lisa was this girl from Thailand, and so I was away from home and she was away from home too, and so we kind of had that in common. I think she was probably the first one to meet me in an elevator, like when I came into the company. I remember somebody, like we kind of came across a girl, but turns out that was Lisa, and she was like, oh, I remember seeing you, you were like this Australian girl, like with this guitar. Probably had my hair tied back in like a tight bun. Not too different from now. And Jisoo, she was like a cool kid. She was like, she had that like bit like snapback like hat. She had like black like big t-shirt on. Like she was like cool. Now I know she's like the goofiest person ever. Oh, and of course she's so cool. But back then I was like, oh my gosh, she looks so like. First time I was auditioning for YG, I was just a very awkward, lost, just like 16-year-old girl. I was there because my dad had told me he's noticed that I obviously have a love for music, and that he doesn't want me to regret it when I'm older, that I haven't tried to pursue anything through it. I remember just being there in Sydney in that audition room, like, I'm probably not gonna get in, but I don't know why I'm here. I was like, ah. I did my thing and I was like, I'm just gonna try and enjoy it since I'm probably not gonna get in, and I'm just gonna try remember this moment and get some good memories out of it. And I left, and then I got a call and I was like, huh, that's very odd. In Korea, we call it our debut performance, so that's where we first kind of did a performance on this Korean show. It was my first performance, but I didn't even think of it as my first performance because I was just so busy like thinking of all the things I had to do. It's like, yeah, I remember it was our song Whistle. We did like a few takes and it was done, and then we walked out and all of our like hair and makeup and all of our staff kind of had brought flowers and wrote like handwritten letters, and they all like kind of like surprised us. And I remember I was like, oh my gosh, our trainee days were pretty like intense. I think all of my trainee days kind of like all those moments kind of flew by. Like in my head, it was kind of weird. I remember I cried a little bit and I was like, oh my gosh, it's actually happened, and I was very happy. First time I saw my performance on TV was probably the first performance we did. I think I was pretty proud of myself back then. It's very different from right now. Nowadays, when I look at my performance, I think I see like so many flaws and I'm like, why did I do it like that? Why can't I do it like this? You know, I'm like very judgmental. But back then I was very like, yep, that was a very good performance. Couldn't have done it better. I think I was very like, yep, well done, Rosé.